Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are, my third degree chosen ones. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth in this divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from none other than 5D, the fifth dimension, and welcome to all those who are entering into the fifth dimension, expanding the 5D consciousness. Faithfully, you are working on your journey and you are expanding your consciousness into the fifth dimension, lighting up this light grid activation. As usual, I bring you the news to infuse if you so choose to infuse with that information, right? And ultimately working on a light grid activation. So if you're not, those of us who are infusing, we choose to infuse with the light, and we mesh with the light grid information and activation. And those who are fighting and keeping up the resistance, every time the light grid touches you or you touch the light grid, it's like being fried on the grid. So don't be fried. Let's infuse. All right. Now, I don't know about you, but as always, I choose to infuse with this light. So I'm back at home. I am here, no longer in Tennessee or Atlanta or Indiana and wherever else I've been. I am back at home base. So honestly, let me be in true transparency. This is a take two, and I had to breathe through some annoyance. I don't these Decepticon, whatever you call it, energies, these interfering energies that want to block, that don't want us to be great in our light. I did a whole video already, so this is take two, and faithfully the information. I open up my crown as I have my crown adorned. And as you see, it is very crystally inclined, and I'm adorning my crown right now because I'm in my oracle essence of it. I am oracling right now, bringing you the message that came through, right? And as I was saying, let me open up my crown and allow these messages to come through. Whoever guides, whoever is here, I call for you all to come through the white light and continue the message and recall the message for those who need to hear, right? So the message is, and now we're getting all kind of noise pollution and interference. I'm telling you, these energies are fighting. They do not want this message, and this is an important message for those whose north node and south nodes are in Capricorn and in Cancer, and it is helping with the consciousness of 5D. It is helping with the expansion of the 5D consciousness as it was shown to me. So check your charts, check your natal charts, because this is for those coordinates. North node, south node in Capricorn or Cancer, either one, because I'm going to explain both, right? So with that said, I'm going to go right into explaining what the nodes are. For those who don't know, the nodes are, your south node is where you're coming from, your past life and things like that, and your north node is your northward trajectory, as I like to say, where you are to be going in this lifetime, our northward trajections of where we are supposed to be going. So where we're coming from and where we're going. Very important in our natal charts to know your north node and your south node, right? The south node also is where we are naturally inclined in this lifetime in what we do. So for example, if you find yourself to be very, very spiritual, more likely your south node is one of the spiritual south nodes, the spiritual node. So in this lifetime, you're just naturally inclined to spirituality, right? Doesn't always mean a good thing. There's still a challenge because we're here to live in this world. So we need to integrate that with our north node. And I'm saying our because I'm one of those whose south node is spiritual inclination. And our challenge is to integrate with the more practicality, the more physical things in this world. So we are to integrate that, not run from it, not be to what's the word, having a dominance in the physicality and shunning the, having a dominance in the spirituality and therefore shunning the physical. It is not for that. There is an integration to be had, and this is when you mature in your spiritual level, in understanding, overstanding, and understanding that the north node is where you are to be going, where you, what you are to be integrating with. So you're coming from one spectrum into the next, bringing a harmony and an integration, because it is all about harmonizing. We are to harmonize the dualities, right? It is not about pinning it against each other, but there is, when we harmonize the duality, we move from the polarization of it. Thank you. We remove from the polarities and we bring them into a unification. This is how we transcend the dualities. By harmonizing, we transcend the dualities and we move from the polarities, if that makes sense. Right? We unpolarize, so to speak. So this integration, this north node, south node integration, is definitely a way to unpolarize while harmonizing, integrating, and therefore also ascending. So for those who don't know, because I could already hear, you know, some people, this, and I had to explain this in the other video, so I'm definitely explaining it now, making sure I don't leave that out. Some may say, well, what about my chart, is what I kind of hear as you may be watching this video. What is my node? So let me go briefly over the spiritual and physical nodes, just so you know the difference, because one is spiritual and one is more physical. So going from Aries, Aries, whose axis is, it's on the Aries and Libra axis. Aries is the me, Libra is the we. Aries is more the physical, and usually the ones that are more about me are more physical, and the ones that usually are about the we are more spiritual, if that makes sense. And Libra is more of the we, it's more of a spiritual house, spiritual one. If your node is in Cancer, or the Cancer and Scorpio axis, sorry, did I say Cancer? Okay, after Aries is Taurus. I don't have my chart in front of me, so I got to go in my mind. Plus, I'm also doing my best to remember what I gave previously, that you get the important information on this take two. So there is Aries and Libra, which is physical, spiritual. There's Taurus and Scorpio, which Taurus is more about the physical. Scorpio is more about the physical, spiritual. Taurus, physical. Scorpio, spiritual. Gemini, physical. Sagittarius, more spiritual. Cancer is more spiritual. And Capricorn is more physical. Leo, what comes after Cancer? Cancer, Leo, then Virgo. There we go. Leo is more physical, whereas Aquarius is more spiritual. Virgo is more physical, whereas Pisces is more spiritual. And that's all of them. I got to close my eyes because I got to look with this eye, right? So, and don't quote me on it. Look at it. Look a little bit deeper. Some of them I know more readily than others. It may be hard to find a book specifically on this. You have to go to the Book of Life Within. You may have to read a variety of books to gain an understanding, to have a reference on which signs or houses are more physically inclined or spiritually inclined. But I do know, one of them I definitely know because I know mine. The axis of Virgo and Pisces is what definitely one of those I know. And the Capricorn and Cancer one is one that I definitely know, hence why I am able to speak on it in this matter. Another one to listen to, besides reading books, you can listen to certain people that are inclined to this information. And one of those is definitely Sister Myra. I have definitely referenced her in when she speaks of the signs. And she may say, like, for her, and one of her explanations, I know that the first signs, the first 6 signs or houses are definitely physical, holistically, as she puts it. And the next half are more spiritual. However, in the first half, which is where Cancer is, it's like in the first half, Cancer is the only one that is more spiritual, whereas Capricorn is more physical, right? So that's just to share that with those of you who may be wondering what their sign is. And then again, look into it and reference other information to make sure that is aligned with you. So with that said, let's go right into the Capricorn and Cancer. This is a juicy one. This is why, this is to understand where your placement is, the part that you play in the expansion of this 5D consciousness. There is a cyclical nature that is happening, and I'm going to explain that to you now. So let's go with those who are coming from the South Node in Capricorn into North Node in Cancer. The South Node in Capricorn is the physical. So those of you whose South Node is in Capricorn, you have more likely mastered your Capricorn, your physical nature. You've mastered the physical, the things in this world. You've mastered that. And in this lifetime, you're naturally inclined to the things in this world, the physical things, as well as like being obedient to the physical, man's physical laws, right? Not that we shouldn't be obedient to laws, but spiritual laws. I want to say universal laws, right? But mankind's laws are very perverse and filled with persistent illusions, right? Which is what we're breaking through. But let me stick to this understanding. So if you're coming from South Node in Capricorn, you're naturally inclined in this world to be more obedient to the world and more worldly, so to speak, and have a grip on physical things. And with your North Node in Cancer, you are to be pulling towards things that are more spiritual, things that are more about the we, things of family, especially nurturing and family. So usually if your South Node is in Capricorn, you're used to being so wired for the world in a way where family usually gets put on the back burner. So it's like family has to wait. I gotta work. I gotta put food on the table. My job is a priority. It's my identity and things like that. And so it tends to, family life tends to either be non-existent or there is a negligence on family life in that way. And it's just to find a way to integrate it. That's all. It's not I'm not doing doom and gloom. It's not bad, or it's just to learn what it is so you can know how to integrate. It's to learn where you're naturally inclined so you can say, oh, okay, this is what I need to be working on. I probably need to do a series on this. I may need to do one with each of the signs, but the message I got was specifically for this Capricorn Cancer axis, why I'm doing it. And also, what is there to know? I feel like I'm leaving some, but I'll get back to it. Spirit will bring it to me. So that is with coming from the south to the north. Now, from the South Node in Cancer, if your South Node is in Cancer, you are used to family life. You are used to, you've mastered, incorporating the we and spirituality and being more inclined with your family. Family comes first before any of these worldly things. You probably even frowns on the worldly things, like, no, it's about my family first. And your North Node in Capricorn is inclining you to pull more towards the physical. Not to be worldly. I want to be careful with this. Not to be worldly. Let's not get it twisted. It is to be more, not from the misappropriations of the old world, but to understand the new world and what you're inclined to in the new world, right? The new true world. So it's like you may have this innate desire in you to pull towards things in the new world. In the world or of the world, just innately, slightly there, but naturally you're comfortable with family and you feel good about family. And so a lot of times it's hard. The complexity in moving into the worldly things is that you may have a guilt. You may have some type of guilt of, I shouldn't be doing that. Family has to always come first. And this is why the challenge for you is to integrate. It's to take what you have used in family. It's to utilize your strength in family and bring that into the world and integrate that into being in that world. And that's the cycle that I was speaking of. So what you help with is both of you, whether yours is in north or south, those who are coming from South Node and Capricorn are to pull from the world, right? Utilize your gifts and how you are so adept in the world and obedience in that way, and integrate it into the family, and integrate it in a way where you're not overriding family for this, and you integrate it where family is just as important, and you're taking those gifts from the world and integrating it into the family, but the new world, not the old world and the old paradigm, right? And this is why certain perspectives have to change, because you have to understand what the new world is. And so that's that part of the cycle. Is those of you who you're tasked, those of you who are South Node is in Capricorn, North Node in Cancer, you are tasked with extracting what you need in your gifts from the world and being in the world and integrating that into the we, into the family. And those of you whose South Node is in Cancer, North Node in Capricorn, you are tasked with bringing your gifts and what you know of family and spirituality and bringing that into, integrating that into the world, but the new true world, right? Not the old world, because that is falling away. So that's the cycle that we're seeing. And in that cycle, it's like you're creating this vortex, those of you who participate in it, creating this vortex to expand the 5D consciousness, right? And it's important that we understand too, because there are certain age groups, those who are particularly born at around 2009, 2008, that younger generation, they're, I believe, the last generation that was dealing with that axis of Capricorn and Cancer. And that young generation is born at a very pivotal time where we are leaving the world the way that it was. The old world is falling away. That old world in Capricorn, as in the last few years, Pluto has been in Capricorn, which is now shifting into Aquarius. So a lot of those things, it's to shake down, it's to bring revelation to the old world, the old paradigm, the old dynamics, and the way that it has been kept in the world, right? And so those who are born with the younger ones with their North Node in Capricorn, South Node in Cancer, is their challenge. What I'm seeing is, how do we tap into the world? And they have a little something in them that inclines them into the world, like they have an innate desire of the world, but misappropriations of the world is the challenge. The distractions in the world, all of the distractions in technology, social media, not that all technology and social media is bad, but the misappropriations of it, they are distracted by that. And this is where some of us who are around them have to foster that. Don't tell them not to be in the world because because it's their North Node. There is a natural innate desire, but it's how they desire the world. It cannot be the misappropriations of the old world, the shadows of the old world. We are to help them understand that it is to bring it into the new world, right? They're responsible for bringing what they naturally are adept to in family and in spirituality into the new world, into physicality. So there's a way to utilize social media and all of those things without it being the distraction. So we have to, those of us who are around these people that know this, are responsible with fostering that. And I say that because in true transparency, I am one of them. I am the parent of one of them, and I see that this is how it was able to come to me today in a message that was being given to me about something else. Seeing that I naturally, because of my South Node being spiritual, I'm naturally inclined to spiritual things. So it was harder for me to understand those who have a North Node in Capricorn moving into the world, because I'm moving away from the world. But it was to understand, overstand, and understand that it's not the world the way we know it to be. It is not the old world. And that's when I saw the task and the responsibility to bring that into the new and true world dynamics. So for those of us who are very spiritually inclined, especially parents, if you have children like this, foster them. It is our job to foster them having that innate desire into the world, but move it away from the distractions. We have to teach them. It can't be the distractions of the world. It can't be the misappropriations, but it is okay to be inclined to the world in that way, to be have this internal innate desire of something in the world. They just need to know how. Right? And even if you're in a generation that's older than that, if you're older than the ones that were born in 2009, 2008, and the reason why I say within that time span, because the nodes are usually in the same place for 18 months. So anyone who was born within that range, 18 months of around 2009, so which is about a year and a half, is you know, in this range of what I'm talking about, where their south node was in Cancer and their north node is in Capricorn. And so even if you're older than that and you have these nodal placements, it's still hard. It's hard for you. Theirs is pivotal, so it may actually be a little bit easier for them. If you're older, it's harder in the sense that you're used to the world the way it was, right? And you've probably made some mistakes in life with this innate desire in the world, but kind of out of guilt, pushing it away because you're naturally inclined to be about family. So you push away things of the world. And so I say to you, it is for you to integrate that, to bring what you know of family, but not leaving them behind, but bring them into the world. And family also equals the collective, because what we do with, I want to make sure everyone understands this. When I say family, the collective, the we, it starts with the family, right? And then it goes to the extended family and the extended family and the extended family till it becomes the world, because we're all extended family members, one onto another. You know, looking at it in that way, truthfully speaking, we're all one, right? But it starts with the immediate family. So that's why Capricorn, Cancer represents, you know, nurturing and family. When you nurture the family, you can expand yourself to nurturing the world, right? So this is why it's really important that you take that, you know, that natural inclination to family and we, and bringing that, integrating that into the capacity of the new world. You know, the innate desire to want to do things technically, or even to be obedient. There's an innate desire to be in some type of obedience, but it's not the obedience of the world, right? It's to bring into physicality and practicality the obedience of the divine, right? And you're bringing that into the expansion of the 5D conscious, and this is why that is so important, right? So also those who are coming from, and that's to understand it both ways. Even if you're coming from Capricorn in the physical into the family, it is integrating. And the reason why it's so important, because if you know how to integrate that into the family, you're bringing on a bigger level. If you can expand your scope, those of you who are born in these coordinates, the cycle that you're seeing is that you're bringing something from a physical standpoint, mastering the physical, and you're bringing that physical. This is how we harmonize physical and spiritual balance, and you're bringing that physical into that we dynamics. First your family, obviously, and when you expand it, it's like you're bringing it into the world. So you're bringing it into the new world of the 5D consciousness. You're helping to expand that. The more of you that can do that, the more you help shift something in the collective paradigm. From the individual to the collective, you're shifting something within you individually and ultimately shifting the collective, right? And those of you who are coming from the Cancer into the Capricorn, you're highlighting that also. If you open the scope, you're seeing how what you're doing is you're bringing the world, the family, the world into the physical new world, therefore helping to restructure the new world. And this is true new world order, what I call true world order, into the new paradigms. This is how we're all going to help to break down paradigms. So even if you're not born in those nodes, those of us who are aware of this, we help foster this each one reach one teaches one. So we help foster this, right? And so with that said, this brings me to understanding when all of this was activated and taken place. And this was since last year. Last year there was a Grand Cardinal Cross, if you all remember, or you can go to it. And the Grand Cardinal Cross happened around July with the cardinal signs, meaning the Cancer and Capricorn axis that was at a crossroads with the Aries and Libra axis, right? And the nodes where they are right now is the Libra and Aries axis. North node in Aries and south node in Libra. North node is more in the physical, and south node is more in the spiritual. That's where it is right now, right? In which the eclipse have everything to do with amplifying this. Every time we get to an eclipse, it's amplifying what these nodes are meant to do, right? But realize also that this is the Grand Cross that activated those of you who are on the Capricorn and Cancer axis. This is where a lot of you were activated at this Grand Cardinal Cross, and even those whose nodes are in Aries and Libra, right? This works tightly with you as well. However, this message that I'm giving right now is specifically for those with Cancer and Capricorn, so that they understand how they were activated. So you were activated around this time of the Grand Cardinal Cross into the dynamics that you hear me speak of right now. So what that means is that in the past year, whenever this happened, it activated these light codes that were coming in. The angles of light activated this in you to begin this process that I speak of, where we are taking from the physical into the spiritual, spiritual into the physical. There's integration that is happening, and it's happening in a way that may be challenging for some of you. It may be a challenge that because it's challenging you to change your perspectives on what needs to be done. If you have any resistance in you towards this integration in any way, shape, or form, unconsciously or consciously, most likely for you all it may be unconsciously, because consciously you're not really thinking about, oh, I'm resisting, but somewhere in you there is a resistance because you're not aware of this concept, so to speak. And so if there's a resistance, if you're living your life with the distractions and there's a resistance, then you're going to get challenges. Those of you who were activated, that means within the last year, those of you on the cross of the Cancer Capricorn axis, you may have gotten challenges that are helping to be thrusted into this integration. It is helping to catapult you. It is helping to be a catalyst even into this integration, right? And for some of you, it may not necessarily need many challenges. If you were already working on yourself, if you were already doing shadow work, if you were already moving resistance, then you may have felt the natural inclination, the need, the pull. You may have felt that I need to move in this direction, whichever one it is for you, whatever you need to be integrated into. You may have been feeling, if you're coming from Capricorn, you may have been feeling more of a pull into the family life, maybe letting go of that job that is taking so much of your time because you're realizing the family life. But then you're finding a job that, to balance it, it's not to say I give up on my job. You're finding a way that you can take what you use, minimize how you've been so charged in that job, so to speak, or that career. You minimize that charge and you find a healthier way to be able to work while putting your family first. You're integrating that into now, rather than neglecting the family, or rather family being non-existent, you're moving into prioritizing the family and infusing certain important concepts into the family. And you're moving more towards thinking about, I think I should be ready to have a family now. You know, you're opening up to that and realizing that it doesn't hinder your work, right? And that's if you're more open to it. And if you have been doing your work and you're coming from Cancer into Capricorn, you're realizing that family doesn't have to hold you back from engaging in certain aspects into the world and physicality, and you're taking the concepts of family and integrating it into that. You've been feeling pulled more into, okay, family, I can trust that you'll be all right, and I'm still here for you. And you're not doing away with the family, but you're integrating, balancing, harmonizing by taking that and saying, but I have to do this, you know. And the north nodes right now are helping with that, believe it or not, because the north node in Aries is about, right now, currently, is about soul integrity. It is about individualization, but without selfishness, right? Removing selfishness and keeping in mind of the south node in we, which is in Libra. That dynamics is helping, keeping in mind that the south node, there has to be justice and a balance and a harmony, not not moving without compassion for the collective, but still putting me first. Soul sovereignty. And that soul sovereignty in the north node is helping you move in the direction that you need to move. If you're supposed to trust that your family will be okay, and in your soul sovereignty, move into what is necessary for your soul's goal, right? And let your soul glow, and just move into that direction, right? I mean, there's so many, so much to go with this. I can give so much more, but that is one of the definite things I see that is important. So you're more likely being pulled into, okay, I need to do this. This job is important, because whatever that job is, especially if you're spiritual, if you're working on expanding the 5D, it's going to add to the expansion of 5D, because we need more people doing certain things in the world that is going to help us who are into 5D expand and living in that manner. So we can't block out the world. So you each play an important part, but those of you specifically in these coordinates, this is how it's helping. And for those of us who are parents to these people or loved ones, we have to help foster this. So don't fight them on their natural inclinations, which is their south node, or their innate desires, which is their north node. We just need to foster how that desire is coming in. It cannot be tainted with the distractions of the old paradigms of the old world, right? We have to understand that moving into that world is into the true world without distractions, right? So this is what we're going to be able to help each other with in understanding. So harmonizing is a major part in that, as we're integrating to harmonize. And this is going to help us understand how we're expanding the new earth. There's this vortex that's happening as you all do it. There's a vortex that you're opening that is helping those to move from the physical into the spiritual, bringing this into the family, and bringing the family and the we into the physical. And as you do that, it's helping vortex, it's helping it expand. And I just saw 333 again, in finalizing this. So it was meant to be for me to see 333, 33 minutes 3 seconds, which is a creative completion. And I'm going to take that again as a sign that, of course, I need to wrap that up. So the creative completion is what the 3 is. And that means in what we're doing, we are in that major dimension of the creative completion. Major dimensions, dimensional portals, so to speak. The 3, the 6, and the 9. And the 3 is the first one of those major portals. So I take that as confirmation that what we're doing as we're doing that, what I'm explaining, is a creative completion in this process. And take what you need that works with you, and don't be afraid. You have been activated on that grand cardinal cross, right? Understanding that this is the natal. I'm speaking to those on the natal that have a natal chart of Cancer and Capricorn, but this is where we are now in the Aries and Libra axis. And so this axis is helping. This grand cardinal cross is also helping. Let the now north node and south nodes be able to help you in your natal north node and south nodes, which it is if you allow it, with that north node in that is now in Aries, that's helping us to move beyond. We have to want to go into our soul's sovereignty. That is an important part to remember and to take from this. What is your soul's sovereignty? I know I say sovereignty. Sovereignty, however which way it goes. We want to take that component, because that's what's going to help us. What is for me, but without selfishness? Thank you, Spirit. Important part to remember. This moving from the North Node into the South Node, from Capricorn into Cancer, is doing it without selfishness, right? Because in your past life, you've been inclined to things in the world, but it caused selfishness. So it is moving again. The North Node, and now North Node in Aries, is what's going to help you remove the selfishness out of it. And the same thing with coming from the South Node into the world. It's going to help you go into the world without selfishness, right? It's going to help you to safely say, okay, I have my family here, and I'm not being selfish because that's the threat. You know, you feel guilty. I'm not going to be guilty, feel guilty about, you know, pulling away from my family, which you're not really pulling away. It just feels like that. Integrating is the real word to use. I'm not going to feel selfish about integrating because I feel like I'm pulling away from my family into that. And you think that that's selfish. That is not selfish, right? So you want to make sure that, well, you want to make sure you're doing it without selfishness. And that's what this North Node in Aries can help. If you're utilizing it correctly, it will help you to do what you're doing, moving into your soul sovereignty with compassion, which helps you to do it without being selfish. As you move into the world, you're not going to selfishly throw your family or the collective away to selfishly move into the world. Some of you got to be careful of that, because you may feel that tug and you may misread it, and you may just think, oh, I got to do away with family and I need to go into the world. And that's misappropriating it, which I've seen that with some people. And in the other direction, it can also be misappropriated, that you will think, oh, I just got to throw away my career and move in this direction. It is integration. Remember, we are integrating the two dualities to come into a harmony that transcends the polarities. Ashe, ashe. So, faithfully, you have gotten the message. For those who are definitely in those nodes of Capricorns and Capricorn and Cancer, this message is for you, and it is oh so true. And this is how you are going to help with the expansion of 5D, as you have all been activated by that grand Cardinal cross last year. So with that, I thank you all. Please remember to, if you made it this far, remember to like, subscribe, share, comment if you dare. Leave an emoji of, maybe if you're coming, those of you who are coming from Cancer into Capricorn, put a Cancer emoji and then a Capricorn. If you're coming from Capricorn into Cancer, put a Capricorn emoji and then Cancer. So just to highlight, you don't have to, but I'm just saying, just to highlight if you want to be like, hey, North Node, South Node, Capricorn and Cancer here, you know, put that in there. If you don't have anything to say, if you have a comment, please share your comments. I'm back in town, so I'm able to tap into the comments again, and I'll be catching up with the old comments as well. So give me some time. I will be right there in the divine timing of it all. Also, remember, the 5D calendars are still here. Thank you for those of you who have been so patient, especially since late June. The original one, the orders, they are coming out this week. We will dedicate mailing them out specifically this week as we've returned. And those of you who haven't gotten it, here's your chance. You can still go ahead and get it at a 5D corner near you. Tap right in, step right up, and tap right in. And you can get that in the link below. If you don't see it here, you can look in a previous video, not one from the past week where I haven't been home. Your best bet is to look for the calendar video. The video that I did specifically on the 5D calendar definitely has the link in there, which is my email information, and how to order the calendar. So get your 5D calendar, step right up. right? And with that, I will close out with this, because as the first video happened and I was closing out, and I'm feeling a bit of it now, just lightly, not as heavy as before, but I was getting an interception of my friend and dear loved one, dearly departed, who transitioned earlier this year, with that whole Maherta frequencies and Pluto moving into Aquarius with the sun activity. And she was dear to my heart, and she is the one who brought this message. So I can't go without giving a graceful shout out to the belated, my late lovely Lisa, baby girl Lisa as I call her. And she has been really coming through since her birthday. So let me wish you a happy heavenly birthday, Lisa. On the 21st was her birthday, and she's been strongly with me since the 21st. And I have to give her a shout out and say to you, you have done well, baby girl. Whatever you haven't been able to do, even within your own family, you have done tremendous in mine. You have brought so much, because it was messages that she was bringing to my family specifically. And within that message, this message came through. So I want to definitely say you have gotten your wings. Those loved ones that pass, we have to allow them to help us transcend some things. And when you let them help you, they essentially gain their angel wings. I have to give that quote because of what I know about angels. I know it's something else, but for definition purposes, I'm wording it in that way so that you can understand. If you have a loved one, let them help you. Do not block them from dreams. Let them help you. A lot of times they can't help their own family, so they come to where they can be of help. More likely you are open spiritually to them, and that's why they're coming to you. Yes, I'm getting confirmation right here. She's coming back. She's like, yes, that's it. So I'm sharing that with you all. If someone's coming to you, don't just ask why. Listen, say I'm receptive, and let them bring to you the messages. When you let them help you, they get to expand and they get to get their angel wings, and you help with their transition in time, through time. So again, shout out to you, baby girl Lisa. I love you. We miss you physically, but I am ever grateful for your presence whenever you're around, spiritually. Always. And with that said, each one reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out, and be the candle that lights the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Peace, love, and light.